Hold up. Why do they doubt the kid? I'm about to prove them all wrong again. I got a low tolerance, cause they don't even know what the problem is. It's me. You waiting on the boy to fail, then hold your breath and face your death. Cause you play a roulette with each step. I progress, no less. Go ahead and place your bet.
Welcome back, y'all. This is the Double M Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jesus Dinero, here with my co-host,
Puma El Gato.
What do we got going on tonight, my man?
We're talking about UFC Fight Night. It's Charles Bronx Oliveira versus Mateusz Gamrot. Let's talk about it.
As you guys know, we here are big fans of Charles Oliveira. We have a lot of respect for the man. We think he's a great dude, great champion, great individual all around. I'm a little concerned about this fight only because of the turnaround. Listen, I have nothing against Gamrot, but I think Charles Oliveira can beat the man in spades. I feel like if you look at Charles Oliveira's striking game, if you look at his grappling game, his on the ground game, BJJ, all that stuff put together, I feel like he has more tools than does a Gamrot to be able to win the fight. But the fact that he turned around so quickly after losing to Ilia Topuria, that has me a little bit worried. And I'm not the only one. I've seen plenty of people on the internet saying, hey, this is too quick. You need to take a little bit of rest, recoup, blah, blah, blah. And yes, while the fight with him and Ilia Topuria wasn't like, it's not like it was a continuous ongoing beating, after what happened, he got knocked out and that was essentially it. The problem is though, still, man, you got knocked out. Take a little bit of time. I honestly don't know what the expectation or what the reasoning is for Charles Oliveira. Maybe it's not him. Maybe he's being pressured by the powers above, Dana White and the such. And the problem with that is that I get it, but Dana White and them, they don't care about the fighters. They're not going to look out for your health. They got a show to put on. They need people, and clearly Charles Oliveira has always been one. I don't want to say he's been a company man, but he's been, if you need me, you can call me type of guy. So the turnaround concerns me to a great deal, if I'm being honest with you. Other than that, if it weren't for that, I would honestly just be saying, hey, look, man, I got Charles Oliveira. I think if you look at Charles Oliveira's wins over a number of notable names throughout his career, I feel like each time that he's been able to beat somebody, the likes of Dustin Poirier, I'm blanking on the names here, but different individuals that he's beat, I feel like he's been able to do it in such a way that he picks apart slowly the individuals that he's fighting with. Whether it's striking when he beat Michael Chandler, whether it's the way that he like almost spider-like climbed on top of Dustin Poirier and was able to put him in that chokehold. All these different things, right? I feel like he has, if he's in a difficult position, he knows what he needs to do to get into a good position. All those types of things. And I feel like that's much more than Gamrot has. Again, I'm not trying to disrespect Gamrot. Gamrot also has some notable wins under his belt as well. But I just feel like Charles Oliveira just has more of a complete package than does a Gamrot. Now, again, the one thing that I gotta come back to is it's too early, man. It's too early. The fight with Ilia just happened not that long ago. And there's too much. Theoretically, you'd want a little bit of time, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to happen before another fight. Ideally, in my opinion, at least 6 months. And the problem is that I don't think you can come back so quickly from such a difficult and tough knockout like Ilia Topuria gave him. And listen, I don't blame Charles Oliveira, man. At the end of the day, he's got a family to feed. He's got a team to feed. I know that the man likes nice things as well. So all that kind of good stuff. But listen, man, again, nobody's going to look out for the health of the fighter more than the fighter himself. So I think it's a little bit too quickly. But listen, if I'm going to pick somebody, I'm going to pick Charles, man. Again, at least for me, I can't speak for my bro here, but he's a channel favorite for me. I like the guy, not just as a fighter, but as an individual. He's very cool. I actually just saw a video. Alex Pereira fight just happened this past weekend. I actually saw a video of him and Alex Pereira talking about what they're gonna do. It was before the fight. What they're gonna do. Blah blah blah. What Alex Pereira was getting ready to do, and Charles is just a nice, likable guy, man. I find it hard to not like the individual, so it's difficult for me to root against him, and that's part of the reason why I think he is going to win. Forget the likable thing, forget all that, but he's just that person that is going to put himself out there no matter what and get things taken care of. So I'm going to pick Charles Oliveira despite the clear issue of him having such a fast turnaround. I know some people will say, oh, well, Hamza did it in 7 days. Listen, man, way different. Gamrot, top 10 competition. Makhachev was fighting individuals that weren't even ranked, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure they weren't ranked. So listen, it's a tough turnaround. I'd like to see a little bit more of time in between the Ilia Topuria fight and this fight. But listen, we are where we are. I'm picking Charles Oliveira. I think it's going to be via submission. I don't know what round. It could be any round if I'm being honest with you, Charles Oliveira. If not too much damage was done, I'm definitely feeling Charles Oliveira as the winner. But listen, again, who knows how much damage was done off of that fight with Ilia Topuria. So we'll have to see. But hopefully Charles Oliveira can pull this one out. What do you think about that, my man?
Listen, I understand it's a little bit disappointing for people that were fans of Charles Oliveira because they feel him having to do a turnaround this quick would be damaging to his health. And the fact that he's doing it on a fight night, which, reputation for fan speaking for a big mainline name like Charles Oliveira, for example, fighting on a fight night. Some people would take that as a sign of maybe his stock is dropping, but I think it's really more so after getting stonewalled so badly by Ilia Topuria. And again, watch back to our reactions to that. We pretty much by and by agree that was pretty much a horror show for Charles Oliveira's fans. A great performance for Ilia Topuria, no doubt, but for Oliveira fans, like, I'm not gonna lie, we were kind of reeling off of that. So I think this is a twofold great decision, at least by matchmaker standards. Charles Oliveira gets to basically get his get back against a smaller unknown opponent. But to give some little bit of credit to Mateusz Gamrot, he's actually been racking up some at least impressive wins, especially when you look back at his ESPN fights. He had a decision over Rafael Dos Anjos. He had a competitive fight against Dan Hooker, which that was a good fight in and of itself. The Kimura that he had on Jeremy Stevens, which again was impressive in and of itself. I was like, the man has actually some pretty good all-around stats. He's good on the feet. He's a good striker. One of the things that I noted that he shoots for the leg a lot, which can be a good or bad thing depending on how good Charles Oliveira's takedown defense, which I do think he actually is pretty good on. But the fact of the matter is, it's not like Mateusz Gamrot is a nobody. It was like, for what it's worth, he's actually a pretty good rising name. If anything, I actually think this fight is actually pretty well made, again, by matchmaker standards, and I do think it's good for Oliveira to have somebody that's as tough as Gamrot is perceived to be on the up and up, and at the same time, it's good for Gamrot to at the very least have a name like Oliveira, win or lose, to even have him on the resume and say, look, I fought one of the best in West. Even if I came up short, you can't say I didn't fight the best of the best. And look, God forbid, because again, we are Charles Oliveira fans, God forbid, if Gamrot does win Oliveira, guess what? That is a huge upstock to Gamrot. We can't be out here saying, oh, I hope Charles Oliveira wins, and if he wins, I was like, yeah, he was on the way out. He's a nobody. I was like, no, Charles Oliveira still is a damn good fighter. And if Gamrot gets by him, we need to start analyzing hardcore, okay, who is Mateusz Gamrot? I think that's a fair question at the end of the day. And again, let this be known. Again, as much as we are fans of one particular fighter, we call it down the middle. Again, Gamrot has a decent chance. I'm going to say 40-60. I'm going to say is going to be the chances of Gamrot win. 40% that Gamrot's going to win, 60 Oliveira is going to win. I'm giving a fairer shot as I can be. But again, if you were to ask me who do I think is going to win, I do think Oliveira is a better all-around fighter. I just think he has way too much on the feet. And to be fair, Gamrot does have some decent on the feet, but Oliveira's is better. I do think that Gamrot has good submission skills, but then again, so does Oliveira. He's just a better all-around fighter. Again, we've been wrong before, but at the same time, if you had to ask me to put my chips down, I'm saying Oliveira. I'm going to be a little bit more pragmatic about it. I do think it's going to go to a decision, but I'm going to give some credit to Gamrot. He is going to keep it as competitive as can be. Well, what do you think about my analysis on that?
Yeah, man. Listen, I agree with you completely. I think all the tools that Gamrot does have, Oliveira has them in spades, much better. Even if Gamrot does shoot a lot for the leg, does go for the takedown a lot, that's one of the worst places you could be with Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is phenomenal, again, in submissions, getting out of positions, putting himself in better positions, all that good stuff. So I think overall, again, Charles Oliveira is my pick. But listen, I looked it up just to make sure that I wasn't tripping because I was pretty sure it was under 3 months. It's about two weeks under 3 months. So essentially, he's coming back for another fight. Charles Oliveira is in just a little bit over 2 months, 2 months and 2 weeks. That's too soon, man. That's way too soon. That's the only thing that worries me. Again, if it weren't for this short turnaround, I honestly, I would say, hey, Charles Oliveira in spades. I got the man winning. And, Charles Oliveira's starting to get up there in age, at least for a fighter. I know for most people he's still young, but for a fighter, he's trying to get up there in age. That wear and tear, man, because he's had some fights, man. He's had some fights. At a certain point, they're going to start to take effect. And I'm hoping Ilia Topuria wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back on that taking effect. Because, man, I would hate to see Oliveira starts to slowly go downhill, especially after such a hard-fought career, everything that he had to do to get to the point where he's at now. So I'm hoping that Charles Oliveira can pull it off again. Just that one notable thing, which is a pretty big thing, unfortunately. Again, June 28th, I believe was his last fight. Again, we're not even 3 months out. So hopefully Oliveira has the wherewithal, has all the tools, and has enough in the gas tank to be able to get this done, because I do believe he can get it done. We'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting. Definitely tune in to watch the fight, guys. It's going to be a phenomenal fight. Great fight. And with that, make sure to like, comment, hate, subscribe, DM us about the bullshit. And
Until next time, get rest and stay blessed. We'll see you in the next one.